So, you're trying to have a baby. And if you are, you know it can be a total emotional roller coaster, right? Full of hope one minute and just frustration the next. But what if getting pregnant isn't about some secret miracle, but more about just avoiding a few common mistakes? Well, let's get right into it and talk about the 12 biggest fertility mistakes that might be standing in your way, and way more importantly, how you can fix them. Just let that sink in for a minute. So many couples are on this exact same journey, and a lot of the time, the path is blocked by some surprisingly simple, totally avoidable things. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to shine a light on those roadblocks so you can feel empowered to just, well, walk right around them. All right, first up, let's talk about what is probably the single most critical piece of this whole puzzle: timing. And it's so much more than just circling a date on a calendar. It's about really understanding your own body's unique rhythm. And that leads us right into mistake number 1, not tracking your ovulation with any real accuracy. Here's the deal. Ovulation, that moment the egg is released, only lasts for about 24 hours. That's it. If you miss that tiny window, you've got to wait a whole other month to try again. So yeah, just guessing. It's really not a great strategy. And if you need proof, just look at this. The numbers don't lie. Couples who are actually tracking ovulation are more than twice as likely to get pregnant within 6 months. I mean, you're talking about going from a 30% chance to a 70% chance. The takeaway here is so clear. Stop guessing and start using the tools we have, like ovulation predictor kits or fertility apps, to really zero in on those key days. Now, mistake number 2 is all about frequency. A lot of people think you either need to be having intercourse every single day, or they worry about, saving things up. But the science actually points right to the middle. It turns out sperm quality and count are at their best every 2 to 3 days. That's the sweet spot. Quality over quantity. And that brings us to a related problem, which is mistake number 9, completely obsessing over the schedule. Look, timing is important. We've established that. But when making a baby starts to feel like a chore on your to-do list, it adds this layer of stress and pressure that is literally working against you. You have to remember to connect and enjoy each other. You'd be surprised how often less pressure can lead to much better results. So we've covered timing, but honestly, that's just one part of the equation. Let's move on to section 2 and zoom out a bit to look at the lifestyle factor. Because it's not just when you try, it's how you're living your life every single day that can play a massive, massive role. And a huge piece of this involves both partners. This is mistake number 4, and it is a big one: ignoring the male side of fertility. There's this old-fashioned idea that fertility is mostly a woman's issue. But just look at the data. It's not. Male factors account for 40% of cases. That's exactly the same as female factors. A simple semen analysis at the beginning can save so much time and frustration. It really, truly takes two. And it's not just about the purely physical stuff, is it? We have to talk about the mental game. Which brings us to mistake number 3, underestimating the power of stress. So what's this number 29%? Well, that's how much longer it can take for women with high levels of stress markers to conceive. Stress isn't just in your head. It creates real physiological changes that can mess with your hormones and ovulation. But here's the good news. You don't have to quit your job and move to a monastery. Tackling stress can be about small, simple things. We're talking about deep breathing exercises, a little bit of yoga, taking a walk, or even just carving out 15 minutes a day to read a book. These little things can genuinely lower those stress hormones and bring your body back into balance. And to wrap up this lifestyle section, let's talk about mistake number 12, not being at a healthy weight. Whether you're significantly over or underweight, your body's hormone production can get thrown completely out of whack, and that often messes with or even stops ovulation. But check out how powerful a small change can be. For a lot of overweight women, losing just 5 to 10% of their body weight is enough to kickstart regular ovulation again. That's incredible. And of course, we have to talk about 2 major habits here. Mistake number 6 is smoking and drinking alcohol. And it's really important to know they do different kinds of damage. Smoking can actually age a woman's ovaries faster and seriously harm sperm quality. Alcohol, on the other hand, is directly linked to a higher risk of miscarriage and other complications once you are pregnant. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about what you're putting into your body. Because what you eat, and this is a surprising one, what you use, can have a direct impact on your journey to get pregnant. This one is fascinating because it's something almost nobody thinks about. You're so focused on the food, the vitamins, the timing, but there could be a common product you're using that you think is totally harmless or maybe even helpful that could actually be working against you. And that brings us to mistake number 7, using the wrong lubricant. Yeah, really. Most of the standard lubricants you'd grab off the shelf actually have a pH that's hostile to sperm. They can damage them or basically stop them in their tracks. The fix is so easy, though. Just look for a product that is specifically labeled fertility friendly. It's designed to be safe for sperm and to match your body's natural environment. So beyond that one specific product, let's talk about the big picture, your diet. That leads us to mistake number 5, which is ignoring nutrition. You know that phrase, you are what you eat, isn't just a cliche. It is a biological fact. The quality of your eggs and your partner's sperm is literally built from the nutrients you're eating every day. A poor diet just can't supply the high-quality building blocks you need. So what should you be eating? Look, this isn't about perfection. It's just about balance. Try to work in things like zinc-rich foods, which are great for sperm production. Antioxidants like vitamin C and E from fruits and veggies protect your cells from damage. And then you've got your lean proteins and, of course, folic acid, which is absolutely essential. And speaking of folic acid, that brings up another common mistake. Mistake number 10 is waiting to start prenatal vitamins until after you're already pregnant. For them to really do their job, you should start taking folic acid or a prenatal for at least 3 months before you even start trying. That gives your body time to build up all the reserves it needs to support a healthy pregnancy right from day one. Okay, so you've dialed in your timing, you've cleaned up your lifestyle, you're eating right, but it's still not happening. This is where we need to talk about knowing when to call in the professionals, because it's just as important as anything else we've covered. And this is a big one, mistake number 8, waiting too long to get help. The medical advice here is super clear, and it's based on how fertility changes with age. If you're 35 or older, you see a doctor after 6 months of trying. If you're under 35, you get a full year. Don't wait longer than that. Being proactive is your best friend here. And here's why seeing a doctor is so important. It helps you avoid mistake number 11, having an undiagnosed medical issue that's getting in the way. Things like PCOS, which messes with ovulation, or endometriosis. These conditions are way more common than you think, and they are often treatable once you know what's going on. A few simple tests can give you a diagnosis and, more importantly, a plan. Wow, we have covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From timing and lifestyle to diet and doctors. But I want to leave you with one last, final tip. And honestly, this might just be the most powerful and empowering thing you can do on this whole journey. And that move is this. Do not be afraid to get a second opinion. Fertility is a really complex field, and different doctors can have different ideas and approaches. If you don't feel like you're being heard, or if a treatment just isn't working for you, getting a fresh set of eyes on your case isn't being difficult. It's being a powerful advocate for yourself and for the family you want to build. It could be the one thing that changes absolutely everything. So, as we wrap this up, I really want you to think about this. After everything we've just talked about, what is one small, simple, proactive thing you can do today, right now? Maybe it's just downloading a tracking app. Maybe it's adding some spinach to your grocery list. Or maybe it's finally picking up the phone to make that doctor's appointment. Whatever it is, know that the power to take that next step is completely in your hands.